and welcome to this webinar on innovative water and sanitation in cities. This is the first of the learning series organized by UNDP. This webinar aims to inspire mutual learning and provide participants with useful solutions to apply to their own cities. This webinar will demonstrate how local governments are using Agenda 2030 to improve the lives of people living in cities. My name is Hawa Bari, in charge of communications for the SDG Local Action. Two cities in Africa, Kumasi and Kigali, are part of 15 winning cities of the 2021 Global Mayor's Challenge, an innovation competition that supports and spreads cities' most promising ideas. This webinar is expected to last for 1 hour. Our participants today are Joshua Tete, Supervisor, Global Mayor's Challenge in Kumasi, Ghana, and David Musonera, Supervisor, Global Mayor's Challenge, Kigali, Rwanda. The city of Kumasi is developing a sustainable financing scheme through offering a low-interest loan to residents and training young people with the skills necessary to build locally designed private toilets to households currently without toilets. While the city of Kigali is working towards improving living conditions of two newly upgraded informal neighborhoods of Mpanzi and Busanza. The city is introducing rainwater harvesting systems as an alternative and affordable water source and establishing smart waste collection solutions. Join us for the next 1 hour as the two cities share their experiences and challenges and learn how they apply innovation to build sustainable cities. The session aims to inspire mutual learning and provide participants with useful solutions to apply to their own cities. I'll now invite Joshua to present his project.
Thank you very much for giving me such opportunity to present the project that the city of Kumasi is implementing. And as you indicated in your introduction, the city of Kumasi is piloting household sanitation and youth employment projects. That's developing a sustainable financing scheme through offering a low-interest loan to residents and training the youth with the skills necessary to build locally designed private toilets that is environmentally friendly and very robust as far as their community is concerned. And this intervention from the city intends to contribute to the achievement of SDG 6, that's clean water and sanitation, specifically target 6.2, to ensure that by 2030, all have access to adequate and equitable sanitation and hygiene for all and end open defecation. At the local level, we intend ensuring that by 2025, we decrease the number of people resorting to open defecation by installing more private toilets in their homes. Then the project also intends achieving SDG 8, that's decent work and economic growth, specifically 8.5. By 2025 at the local level, we intend training to achieve full and productive employment for more young women and men in Moshizongo community. And now that I've mentioned Moshizongo, it's likely the question that will come to mind is, where is Moshizongo? Moshizongo is a low-income suburb that found itself in the city of Kumasi, a West African city in Ghana, and it has an inhabitants of over 56,000 people and a household of over 13,000. And it has significantly about 1/5 of its population between the ages of 15 and 24. Why is the city implementing these projects of sustainable financing for sanitation and creating jobs for the youth? The city observed that Bushizungu, a densely populated neighborhood in the city of Kumasi, is fraught with a lot of challenges. Among them are few social and infrastructure amenities, and unfortunately, very limited number of the houses do have household toilets. As a result of that, out of the 56,000 inhabitants in Bushizungu, only 83% do not have access to private toilets. And this is a big issue. The reason being that the majority of the population are women and girls. this robs them of their dignity. Secondly, the public toilets that the community do thing is not open 24 hours. Hence, it limits their access to sanitation facilities, and which results in open defecation and culminates in diseases. So what did the city intend doing? The city is looking at four solutions. One, to create a database on households without toilets so that the efforts to help solve this problem is well targeted. Two, it also intends establishing a sustainable financial solution by providing low interest loans to households that do not have the means so that they have over 12 months period to repay back this loan. Three, the city also intends training the youth in the community, that's the Muslim community, to lead the construction of these locally designed, robust, and environmentally friendly household toilets, by so doing achieving SDGs 8. And the fourth is to construct household toilets to end open defecation. The city cannot achieve this feat all by itself. It needs some partners. Owing to that, the project is looking at partnering the environmental health officers, who are normally in charge of education enforcement, to keep the community in line to subscribe to this project. The project also intends partnering water and sanitation for urban poor, a WASH-related NGO that is versed in advocacy and awareness creation, to learn from WhatsApp as to how to carry out the project. Faith-based organizations and traditional authorities to play a very influential role when it comes to development of Moshizongo. So the project intends taking advantage of them, leveraging on their influence to make sure that households without household toilet will do have access. Then we also have the Kumasi Urban Sanitation and Workers Association. It's an association of WASH-related construction workers that have come together, and we intend bringing them on board to help the newly trained youth that we are going to bring out constructing the household toilets. And we have these pictures as to how we intend leveraging on these partners. The left refers to the environmental health workers, and the right refers to the faith-based organization that we intend bringing them on board. It's very important at this point to bring to bear that Mushizongo is a Muslim-dominated community, hence we'll be taking advantage of the imam and the Mushizongo chief in order to drive our project and to make sure that all houses or all households without toilets will have private toilets for themselves. Although these are noble intentions, it's not without challenges. There are some challenges that we've identified. However, we've come up with mapped out solutions as to how we are going to overcome them should we get there. The first one is inadequate data on households without toilet. To mitigate this challenge, we intend conducting a baseline study and creating a database so that we'll know the specific houses that we not have, and by so doing, be able to target our efforts. Like I said earlier on, it's a Muslim-based community, and they don't believe, or their religion does not subscribe to interest payments. Owing to that, we intend engaging in intensive and extensive awareness creation on the loan scheme, and also coming up with a product that will not have interest on loan, but rather develop it as operational costs that will help us to meet that gap that will come. Then the third one, there is another project that is being implemented by the government also to provide households without toilets with private toilets, but that one is subsidized. How do we intend overcoming this and making our projects chalk success in the community? We intend achieving this by promoting community ownership of the project, by training the unemployed youth in the community to lead the construction. So when it happens that way, the community will own the project, and by so doing, they will be their own marketers and bring people on board. Now, what is our next steps? First is to engage in community animation to create awareness and sensitize people on the project. Then to conduct the baseline studies so that we be able to have a reliable data, households without toilet that needs to. Then train the artisans who will help with the construction of the household toilets. And for the loan scheme, we are now working with the community to agree on the criteria and parameters for the loan scheme. On that note, I say thank you very much for your attention and also listening to the Kumasi team as to what we intend doing.
Thank you very much, Joshua, for a wonderful presentation. Now I'd like to ask David to ask you any questions that he has with regards to your project. David?
Thank you very much for your presentation. Actually, it's very wonderful to have that. As we are in the session of exchange, I had very many questions, but let me just focus on just one or two. Really, it's very interesting for your project. I see it. If it comes very good, I would also replicate it in our city. I was wondering, this is a project that is going to be implemented in an informal settlement, which is very compact and very congested. I'm just thinking about how you're going to get that space of these toilets and everywhere. You know, as you're saying, that pit lanes, and I'm worried about this space. I don't know how you're going to get them, and also worried about the sustenance of this project, how the community is going to play this role of sustaining the facilities that we are going to give them, and also about the mobilization strategy. You know, these people who are in informal settlements are not easy people. You know, they are living their own lives, and so mobilizing and having that this project being implemented and playing their role that they really have to play. So this strategically how planning this. So I think I had many questions, but let me stop with this, Joshua. Sorry for that. Thank you.
Thank you, David, for your 3-in-1 question. So starting with the first, the space. The structure of the houses here are compound house in nature. A compound house is 4 square with a compound in the middle. And these houses initially were built with toilet, but due to pressure, these toilets are no more accessible. So we intend helping them to now make those cubicles accessible. Those without cubicles, we also observe that often there are aisles in between the houses that we can fix this toilet. The size is a maximum of 2.5 by 2.5 feet. So it's a facility that can easily be an appendix to the main house. Then secondly, when it comes to sustainability, in order to make sure that this project comes to steam, we intend training the unemployed youth in the community so that they take up the ownership of the project. So when it happens that way, now we tie SDG 1 and SDG 2 to SDG 6 and 8. So they own it as their own project. And without the city coming in, they will now start marketing it and making money out of it. Then second, when it comes to financial sustainability, that's why we are not giving subsidy, but we are doing full cost recovery, but at a reasonable payment period, that's 12 months. So that as at the end of the 12 months, they will be able to finish paying, then we go on constructing for others. Then when it comes to the community mobilization, I'm very happy that you yourself have acknowledged that they live their own life. But one beautiful thing about them is that they have structures that they respect and hold in high esteem. As a Muslim community, they hold in high esteem their imams. They don't joke with them, and whatever the imams say is sacrosanct, and they go by it. As part of this project, we've warned the imam, and it's part and parcel of this project. All our community engagement, we make sure that the imam is there, and we give the imam platform to help us with awareness, questions, and sensitization. Such community too do have the Sadiki, that's the Zongo chief. They also hold him in high esteem, and regardless of the situation, when he comes in, things fall in line. We've also brought on board this Zongo chief, who is fully supporting us. And anytime I thought we do have a program, he comes around. Then we've selected some community sanitation champions. They are influential individuals in the community that are well known. So we've brought them on board to help us with the awareness, creation, sensitization, and especially the marketing. So when it comes to mobilization, awareness, creation, these are the strategies that we've put in place.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, David and Joshua. I'll now hand over the platform to David for his presentation. David?
Yes, thank you very much, Victoria, and thank you, Joshua, for the presentation that you have made, giving us some insights on the Kumasi. I can't begin without saying that Kigali is the cleanest city in Africa. This is what exactly what we want to maintain. We have gone further with the informal settlements, see the sanitation and cleanliness in the informal settlements. First of all, as a city of Kigali, here we're targeting about the sanitation very much. Here we have put some strategies, and for this project, we are focusing on just newly upgraded informal settlements. This is Pazi and Sanza neighborhoods. Recently, there are some people that have been upgraded and others have been resettled, so that they face some challenges as they have been in informal settlements. Of course, by doing that, we had for some agendas, as we say, Agenda 2030. We have to, by 2025, we are focusing to see that these people living in the informal settlements, really, they have to consume water, which is a bit reduced on the bill, so that they can live comfortably in the new upgraded informal settlements. And also, as far as the sustainable cities and communities in the SDGs, by 2025, we have to ensure that the smart waste stations and sensors are installed in these informal settlements. This is particularly for the efficiency in the collection of the waste that are being produced in these neighborhoods. By that, it's by solving the problem that we currently have there. As we see, the Kigali city is really having very many informal settlements, as it's just having 1.7 million, but most of this population is living in informal settlements. So we started by the informal settlements of Maza and Busanza, where we have to construct the houses and see how the people are going to change in terms of housing, but also we go further to see that the utilities are not really scaling up their living standards. Solutions by that, when we see that people have been settled there and they are really crying about the high prices of the water, and the sanitation is really not good. And so what we are introducing as a solution is just to introduce in the rainwater harvesting in both sites. And this is a country of having the tropical weather, where we have the tropical rainfall like 9 months in a year. So we have to utilize that and see really we don't just have consume the commercial water only, so that we have also alternative affordable water sources. And also by addressing the problem of sanitation, we have to introduce this, what we call smart waste collection stations, where the people will have the shared points where the collections of waste are going to happen. So these are the two solutions that we have to bring into these neighborhoods. By doing that, it's not just the city of Kigali that is going to do this alone. We have different partners that are going to help us and see how we can really give the results and the quality of work, and see really the improved neighborhoods of informal settlements. One is the Ministry of ICT and Innovation, where this is the ministry that they are the ones that have already started the piloting of the smart waste collection stations. So we are going to learn from them, and we are going to get some technical assistances as far as the IT provisions are concerned. And also Rwanda Housing Authority, this is the authority that is responsible for the housing provisions. It has been helping and working with the city of Kigali to provide the housing in these informal settlements and also upgrading. So we are going to work with them to see how we can improve the lives of these people that they have settled them. So another body is the Rwanda Water Body, where they have done several projects countrywide regarding to the rainwater harvesting. So they have a lot of techniques as far as this project is concerned. So we hope to work with them and see really we are going to achieve the very good and reliable results. This is a kind of the picture that is showing what we are having in our minds. As you see, this is the underground tank, and this is on my right. We have the the smart waste collection station. So as you're seeing, there are 2 bins, and we are having the green one and the one in gray. So we are going to separate the inorganic and organic wastes. By doing that, it's not just something that will happen without challenges. So the challenges, of course, right now we are seeing, we started projects a bit in previous months, but as we are experiencing, we are seeing that the prices on the market are a bit high, and according to what we had planned as the proposed facilities that we are going to have, it's whether the materials, whether the consultants' works, everything has hiked, and we're struggling with that. But this is going to be mitigated through the balancing the budget that we have, and see how we can produce really what we can help, and also work with the people that really can minimize the prices. And also on the side of Busanza, the same thing, that the space already, this settlement that we had implemented, already the buildings are there. So we kind of seeing the space will be a challenge, but already we are having the second phase of it. So this is where we're going to get some spaces during the design. So as far as we have reached right now, we are still doing the procurement processes of for the people who are going to do the consultants' works. We are going to first do the studies to see how the needs assessment is going to be done, how the topography, since we are going to have the constructions. So these are procurement, these are the works that are going to be done by the consultants. Also, for that, after doing the studies, we are going to do the civil works, where we are going to construct the smart waste stations, and also have the rainwater harvesting system in both sites that are going to be constructed. After that, it's not just going to remain with that. The city is going to further it into the what we call knowledge transfer, and see if we can give the knowledge to the other cities, as the countries having the secondary cities also that have informal settlements. So we are going to have the city-to-city exchange, and also train some students in the technical schools, and also other stakeholders and beneficiaries. We're going to inform them and have some trainings during the workshops for the purpose of knowledge transfer. I think by that, this is it as a city in short, but in details, we have a very detailed plan for that. But for now, let me say thank you for listening, and this is a summary of our project. Thank you.
Many thanks to you, David, for that wonderful presentation. I'll now have to ask Joshua to ask David any questions that he has with regards to his project. Joshua?
Yeah, David, well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very good presentation, a very noble project, especially aimed at helping the low-income households. But my question is about financial sustainability. How do you raise money to maintain the facility, since it's not going to be charged?
This is a very wonderful question. I think it's really a question that had to be asked, because right now we're having some proposals in our minds, but this is the work that we gave to the consultants, that to see how we can sustain this project through the maintenance plan that they are going to give us. So, but meanwhile, before even having what the consultants are going to give us, we already have different projects which are similar, that we have had facilities provided to the population. And we actually introduced, the city always introduces something what we call the maintenance plan, where the people have to contribute a very small amount, where the people contribute every month or every given period of time that they have agreed. So, like for example, here there are some settlement that they are actually contributing just $1 per month, just keeping it there, that anything that may happen, maybe repair or something like that, they just get from that bucket and they repair everything. So it's what we are suggesting, and also we are waiting for what really the consultant is going to give us, and see what we can go with. But meanwhile, also, we're going to have the committee for these neighborhoods, which is going to be concerned and responsible for these facilities. So this is the committee which is going to be responsible for this fund. So I think for that, for the good question, the better answer that I can give is from consultants.
All right, thank you very much, David, for that beautiful response there. I would also want to ask, in terms of sustainability, since we're talking about sustainability, how do you think you'll be able to engage with partners to ensure a successful project implementation?
Thank you. I think the main beneficiaries and the main stakeholders that we have here, or the partners, are the beneficiaries. Already now we're engaging them during the surveys, during the data collection, during the studies. So they are the ones that are giving us the opinions, the ones that are giving us challenges, their preferences are actually being put ahead and seeing that we are going to address them. So through that process of studying and having the consultants work, we're telling them, this is your project, this is your the project that you have to be responsible for. So first of all, for that partner, it's the beneficiaries that we are really trying to sensitize them and mobilize, telling them that this is your project. So this in terms of ownership. So another thing is the other partners are the government institutions. So whenever we sit or whenever we see the solutions for betterment of the home settlements, we put forward this project and see what really can we sustain with, and what's remaining with this. How are these people going to maintain this? So every partner, every institution that is concerned with this is engaged at this stage of starting implementing the project.
All right, one more question before I bring in Joshua. Can you share with us some of the key lessons you've learned whilst implementing this project in both neighborhoods?
Come again, sorry.
I'm asking, there might be, or there are lessons that you've learned during the implementation project. I'm asking you to share some of those lessons you've learned during the implementation project stage.
As I can say that we haven't gone further with the implementation of the project, but so far what we have seen that it's very important to have the community themselves, the beneficiaries themselves, to be involved and engaged, even starting with right from the beginning of the project, even till the end. I don't know if it's going even to end for them. It's a process that really has to be involving the beneficiaries mainly. So I can say we have learned that nothing can do without these beneficiaries.
All right, thank you very much, David. And now over to you, Joshua. Now, earlier you were talking about the issue of interest rate, especially when it's a Muslim community. Now, how do you intend overcoming such challenge or minimizing that challenge for people, especially with interest rates?
So the interest rates, we are now changing it to operational costs for the bank that will be managing the fund. So in effect, we'll be selling a composite cost to them and not a loan principal and an interest. When it happens that way, it will create a problem. So if the whole cost of the project, including the operational cost, is 7,200, that's what we are going to sell to them. And that's what they will pay. Because they said in the past, there was association of tailors, dressmakers, and the same bank offered them loan. The only thing that the bank did was to give them the total cost of the facility. The bank did not differentiate between principal and interest. And because it was the total cost that was sold to them, they bought into it, and now they finished paying the whole facility.
So in what ways are you engaging with the media to create awareness of this project?
When it comes to the media, so far we've engaged the TV, the radio, the print media, and the Communication Information Center. For example, during the handing over of the items procured by UNDP, we brought on board the TV, the radio, and the print media to, telecast it and broadcast what UNDP has done in support of the project. Aside that, too, we do engage them when it comes to community debates, as well as a courtesy call on the influential people in Moshi Zongo, that's the Imam and the Zongo chief. We also engage them in announcing the projects, especially when an event is coming to take place. We use the media, specifically the community information centers, to announce to the community that this particular date at this particular venue at this particular set time, we'll be meeting there to engage the community as far as the project is concerned. And when it comes to the grand launch of the project, hopefully in October, provided that all the consultants are done with their consultancy work, we once again engage all these pieces of media. That's the radio, the TV, the print media, and the community information centers to help us to create awareness and publicize the project so that although it's just implemented in a segment or a section of the city, the whole city will hear of this project. And when it comes to scaling up, we will not have difficulty achieving that.
All right, thank you very much. Now I'll ask both of you the same question, and I'll start off with David. How do you think this project is innovating local government action in your city?
Thank you very much for the question. Actually, the city of Kigali is having, particularly for the city of Kigali, is having some innovations and some actions that we're planning to do about the sanitation and water. So when I start with the local governing, the law governing the municipality, the city of Kigali, it's mandated to ensure the hygiene and health being resilient to achieve city sustenance. So this is one of the law that is really giving the city the right to see that the sanitation in the city is a key component that they have to address. And so by that also the city is having what we call the city development strategies, which is had to run from 2018 to 2024, through its priority where it aims to improve and sustain household access to basic sanitation services. And when you look at the Kigali Master Plan also, which was updated by 2020, it promotes the sustenance and green initiatives such as rainwater harvesting for the non-potable users in order to create an efficient city and manage stormwater. So these are the strategies and these are the plans that this city is having. On top of that, also we have the what we call the Kigali Urban Water Resilience Program that recommends having alternative water resources and to ensure the water continuity in times of disruption of water utilities. Where also the Rwanda's Green Growth and Climate Resilience Strategy aims to advance what we call the circular economy. So when you look at those, the plans and initiatives that the city is having or it's putting in place, it's all focusing on the sanitation and its resilience in the city, especially in the informal settlements. So the sanitation and the rain, the water sustenance in most of the neighborhoods, I think by 2030, the city is going to be really on the good level that everyone is comfortable with the utilities that is going to be served.
Thank you very much, David. The same question to Joshua.
From the side of the Kumasi team, there are three ways that we see that this project has really introduced innovation in local governance. One, the project has taken the decision-making of local governance to the doorsteps of the beneficiaries of the project, in the sense that a true bottom-up approach of development is what we see. It's the city or the community that is deciding how the loan should be designed. It's not the city authority or the government that is dictating what needs to be done. Then two, it has also anchored the implementation of the interventions in the hands of the beneficiary communities. The reason being that the actual construction is going to be done by locally trained youth. So here, this is where the local governance is. They own it and they are managing it. And 3, there's going to be true transparency and accountability. The reason being that the cost of the toilet facility that is going to be provided is going to be calculated by the project engineer, by the landlord, and the artisans, the local artisans. So all the 3 comes to an agreement on the amount before it starts. So not that an amount that you don't know how it was computed coming to pour on you for you to buy into it. So I think this project has really made it possible for us to experiment what actual bottom-up approach decision making is. And Howard, if you permit me, I don't know whether you also asked me that opportunity, the lessons that we've learned, or we've passed that stage.
Yeah, go ahead. You can share with us.
Yeah, I think from the side of the Kumasi GMC, we've learned 5 lessons. The first one is political leadership. The success of any project needs the mayor to lead, because when the mayor is leading, all the heads of departments and others that matters at assembly takes it serious. And whatever support that you need, you're able to quickly get it. Secondly, community ownership. That's getting the traditional authorities, the religious leaders, and the influential people buying into the project makes it easier to get the community to buy in. Awareness creation and education too is very, very important. The reason being that the more the people hear of the project, the more it causes them to think about and how it's worded. For example, here, when you mention the amount or the cost of the project, they say it's expensive. But if you take your time and do the calculation, how much they spend on public toilets, vis-a-vis how much they are going to spend for having their own toilet, they themselves come to the realization that subscribing to the project's toilet facility is far cheaper and is cost-saving. Then the 4th lesson that we learned was that for the rest of the SDGs to be successful, we must weave in SDG 1 and SDG 2. That's ending poverty, SDG 1, and no hunger, SDG 2. When we are able to weave them in all the other SDGs, we are sure of achieving a success. Because we brought the sanitation champions on board and we made provision for them, now they are driving the project in the community for us, and we are providing direction and guidance. And building the capacity of the local governance staff is very important for sustainability of a project. This project has done so well. Why am I saying that? Other projects that came, what they do is that they take external people to come and implement a project that is being designed by the assembly. And those external people don't have the dream and the concept behind what needs to be implemented. So they come, they just take the salaries, they attend international workshops. After 2.5 years or 3 years, they just go away. There's no knowledge handover to the municipality or the assembly. But with this project, the assembly staff were grafted into UNDP. And by so doing, their capacity is being built. A typical example is this ICT, Zoom meetings and the rest that we are enjoying now. With assembly, we never enjoyed that. But association with UNDP has exposed us to Zoom, to DocuSign, to TOR. There are a lot of things. So when this project comes to its end, and I go back to the assembly, I go back as a refined worker to help the assembly to achieve other projects. So it's a big plus that UNDP this time around allow the local governance staff, that's assembly staff, to come on board to help in the implementation of the project. There's knowledge transfer, which will go a long way to help that. So these are the 5 quick lessons that the Kumasi team have learned from this project.
All right, thank you very much, Joshua. That was Joshua Tete, Supervisor Global Mayor's Challenge in Kumasi, Ghana. And before him is David Muzonera, Supervisor Global Mayor's Challenge, Kigali, Rwanda. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for sharing an insight into your project, and good luck with the implementation. I'll now invite Diana Lopez for her final remarks with regards to this webinar. Diana?
Thank you so much for your contribution today. And this was the first time that we had the whole group with our lovely new visual identity. Diana Lopez, I'm advisor on cities and local government in New York at UNDP. And really we've been supporting, of course, cities and local governments for many years. And this is the first event that we were able to bring these wonderful 8 cities that we are supporting thanks to the Global Mayor project, to share together and to see how, it's very difficult to implement projects. It's very difficult to provoke innovation. It's very easy to say, let's do innovation. Then we go to the day-to-day and we realize, the administrations are not ready for innovation. The contracts, the private sector suppliers, it's all very complicated. It's even more complicated to bring this kind of long-term planning that the Agenda 2030 is giving us, this new mandate about bringing different things together, because no project it's never about water and sanitation. It's always about poverty, it's always about hunger, it's always about the environment. So I think that what we are doing today is bringing these cities to learn with each other and to take this Agenda 2030 as an inspiring moment. To plan better, to communicate better. I think that we need to communicate better, and this is what we are trying with this local SDG action series. So this is the first of many to come. So stay tuned, and thank you very much all for your attention.